So let's just take this from the top. What's happening in the telco industry? Traffic is doubling every 12 to 18 months. Prices are in decline. There's a lot of competition out there. And the telco operators are not making the margin. In fact, they lost about 5% of revenue since the pandemic, of overall revenue from connectivity. And doing the same thing over again and expecting different results is what Albert Einstein would call the definition of insanity. So we have to think about new ways to make revenue. So from an ordinary connectivity service, operators are thinking about how we can offer more services down the pipe, maybe a smart pipe, a clean pipe. What does that mean exactly? The first is maybe an anti-malware service, helping small and medium businesses reduce the amount of junk from the internet that comes across the pipe and potentially causes harm to your business. So an anti-malware service is usually a starting point, and we see a lot of partnerships between operators and maybe federal government, state government, and how we can bring about a cleaner, safer internet for businesses and consumers. The next thing is using the network to predict volumetric attacks called distributed denial of service, and being able to mitigate that from websites crashing. And telco networks have a lot of intelligence deep inside the network, where they can see activities and they can form defenses to prevent this type of thing happening. So security is one big area of how a telco can make more money through a connection, and it can offer a differentiated experience. But the other thing that I see is engineering the network, peering the network to cloud providers such that you get a consistency of service wherever you are, whatever location you're in, whatever region you're in, because the network knows your location and it can bring you to the closest cloud on-ramp to give you a much better user experience, whatever device you're using, whatever your circumstances are. And oftentimes embedded in that is, again, the concept of security. So what we're seeing is it's not just about connectivity, but actually selling more from the connectivity and offering a differentiated experience. And this is what the market is willing to pay for. This is what we're seeing. And this is what we call the theme, making money. The other one that we come across is how do we save money, right? And this speaks to artificial intelligence, machine learning, how to use the most powerful sort of algorithms out there to reduce the cost of network operations. What does that mean? Well, let's talk about networks. One of the coolest things we're seeing right now is zero-touch provisioning. Zero-touch provisioning brings the complexity out of the network, allows the end user to sort of plug a box into a wall, and all of a sudden the default settings are up. This is all done for the cloud and brings tremendous benefits in terms of automation, operational efficiency, speed to market, time to market, cost saves. The other things that we're seeing in terms of saving money is predictive or preventative maintenance, using telemetry in the network to detect where an outage may happen or where a fault may happen, and addressing that immediately before anything actually does occur. There's also things like constant service, closed loop automation that allows you to continuously monitor the performance and the capabilities of your network on an ongoing basis. And this is around really reducing the cost of the network through better automation. And if you do it right, that's about 2% of revenue added to your bottom line through AI and operations. That is another capability. And then the third thing we talk about is changing the whole business model. So that gets to what we call digital managed services. And that is a capability where you're saving money, lowering the cost, while also changing things around. So instead of buying a network connection, you're buying a blended architecture that has maybe cloud, network, security, IoT, telemetry that you might use for asset management, all embedded in this framework. It could be an OpEx model or a CapEx model. Different flexible pricing capabilities are there. You have a unified management, so you can see through a single pane of glass all of your network and all of the dependencies on applications and different settings. You can access your billing details. You can have different views for your lines of business that can see different things. You know, the finance department may want to see one thing, the technology team may see something else, but that is all becoming a realistic possibility. This is all platformed on the cloud-native network, cloud-native platform. So that gives you immediate benefits and continuous innovation, continuous development. speed of release, speed of upgrade cycles. So you get to, your business as an SME has a speed and agility of a hyperscaler. Now imagine that. If you put all this stuff together, then now you're able to talk about outcomes, business outcomes. What are business outcomes? Well, in the old days, we just talked about how much money was saved in the network. Okay, that's kind of boring. Business outcomes are more about how can you better serve your customers? How can you better improve your top line revenue for digital products to add to your revenue streams? How can you have a capability of ICT that is agile and highly responsive, highly in tune to the market? How do you improve your net promoter score? And how do you guarantee the consistency of end user experience? And really business out communicating and articulating the value of the network to the business. That's the journey that I'm seeing with regard to digital network managed services and how we put this all together.